think about how insane sleep actually is. For about a third of your life, you go completely offline, blind, deaf, paralyzed, and totally unaware of the world around you. Now picture yourself 100,000 years ago, lying on the open ground in the dark, surrounded by lions, hyenas, and things with claws and night vision built for killing. A sleeping human is just about the most helpless large animal on Earth. By every rule of nature, our ancestors should have been picked off in the night, one by one, until there were none of us left. And yet here you are. So why doesn't the dart just eat us? Because make no mistake, the deck was stacked against us. We can't see in the dark. We can't smell danger the way a deer can. And we sleep lying down, deeply, for hours at a stretch, often completely dead to the world. Compare that to almost every other prey animal. They sleep in tiny bursts, often standing up, ready to bolt in a heartbeat. A gazelle basically naps with one eye open. We don't. We fully commit to being unconscious. For a predator that hunts by night, a group of sleeping humans should look like a buffet that forgot to lock the door. So the fact that we survived millions of nights like this isn't a small thing. It's one of the strangest survival stories there is, and the answer is not what most people think. Because here's the first thing we have to clear up. Predators do not politely ignore sleeping humans. That is a myth. When a big cat turns into a man-eater, sleeping people are often exactly who it targets: quiet, still, and easy. There are well-documented cases of individual lions, tigers, and leopards that learned to hunt humans and slipped into camps in the dark to do it. It happened often enough to leave scars on history, and to prove there was never any invisible force field around a sleeping person. So the idea that some hidden rule protects a sleeping human is simply false. The truth is stranger, and far more interesting. Getting eaten in your sleep was never impossible. It was just rare, and we made it rare on purpose. The real question isn't why predators can't touch us. It's why they usually decide not to. And the first reason is that, to most predators, you don't register as food at all. Hunters are creatures of habit. A lion raised on antelope, or a wolf raised on deer, builds a kind of mental picture of what a meal looks like, moves like, and smells like, and it hunts that. Scientists call it a search image. Anything that falls outside it barely even pings as prey. A predator that has spent its whole life hunting antelope and small deer can walk right past a sleeping human, not out of kindness, but because we simply don't match the template it's searching for. And a human breaks that picture completely. We stand on two legs, so our shape is tall and wrong. We don't smell like the usual grass eaters. We move strangely, we make strange sounds, and we're often tangled up with fire and sharp objects and other humans. Even lying down asleep, a human is a bizarre, unfamiliar package to an animal whose brain is tuned for four-legged runners. And most predators, when they meet something unfamiliar in the dark, don't think free meal. They think, what is that? And that split second of hesitation is the first thing that kept us alive. That hesitation isn't an accident. Most wild animals are deeply neophobic. They instinctively avoid anything new or strange, because in nature, unfamiliar usually means dangerous. And when it comes to us, they are absolutely right to be afraid. Go back far enough, and predators that tangled with humans tended to regret it. We were never alone, soft animal out in the dark. We fought back with sharp sticks, with thrown stones, in coordinated groups, and eventually with fire. A predator that attacked a human camp wasn't grabbing an easy snack. It was picking a fight with the most dangerous animal it had ever met, one that might chase it, hunt it back, and kill it. Over thousands of years, that pressure left a mark. Studies today find that big predators, lions, leopards, bears, even the boldest of them, are quietly terrified of humans. Play a recording of a calm human voice near wild carnivores, and they bolt, abandoning their food, far more frightened of us than of any other predator. In those experiments, the fear of a human voice beat even the fear of lions. The animals treated us as the single scariest thing in the whole landscape. And this wasn't a lesson each animal had to learn the hard way. Enough generations of predators had been killed or chased off by humans that the caution hardened into instinct, a quiet, inherited memory that the two-legged things are not to be tested. Scientists literally call us the super predator. And that fear runs so deep that a predator creeping toward a sleeping human is fighting its own instincts with every single step. But the biggest hole in the whole idea is that picture of a lone human sleeping out in the open. Because that almost never happened. Our ancestors didn't just flop down in the grass and hope for the best. They slept in groups, packed close together, so a predator faced not one target but many pairs of ears and a wall of bodies. They slept in defensible places, in caves, against rock walls, up on high ground, anywhere with their backs protected. And above all, they slept near fire. Fire is the ultimate predator repellent. Almost every animal carries a deep, hardwired fear of it, and a fire burning through the night throws light and smoke and a single clear message into the dark: dangerous humans live here. The smoke did double duty, smothering the human scent that might otherwise have led a curious nose straight to us. Some groups ringed their camps with walls of thorn branches, others slept raised up off the ground, out of easy reach. And keeping a fire alive until dawn meant someone, at some point, had to feed it, which quietly guaranteed the camp was never completely unwatched. A camp with a fire and a dozen sleeping people wasn't a soft target at all. It was a fortress that happened to be full of sleeping people. Researchers who studied sleeping groups found something remarkable. Across an entire night of many people, there were only a handful of minutes when every single person was asleep at the same time. Someone was always shifting, always half awake, always ready to catch the snap of a twig. And it wasn't random. The oldest members tended to wake earliest, while the youngest adults stayed up latest, so the night watch was quietly handed down the generations without anyone ever choosing to keep one. It's called the Sentinel hypothesis, the idea that our messy, mismatched sleep schedules aren't a flaw, they're a security system. The reason you have one friend who's useless before noon and another who's wide awake at 2 a.m. may be that, for 100,000 years, that mismatch is exactly what kept everyone alive. And that's the real answer, the thing that flips the whole question around. Predators don't spare us because we're safe, or because some rule protects the helpless. They avoid us because, even fast asleep, a group of humans is the single most dangerous thing in the dark. We didn't survive the night by being ignored. We survived it by becoming something to be feared, by turning ourselves, with fire and numbers and sharp tools and clever sleep, into the one animal that every other animal learned to leave alone. Think about how strange that is. The soft, slow, can't-see-in-the-dark ape didn't win the night by being tougher or faster. It won by being the thing you do not want to wake up. Even unconscious, we carried our danger with us. A lion can sleep in the open because it fears almost nothing. We can sleep in the open because we made almost everything else afraid to try. And maybe that's one of the most human things there is. We are the only animal that taught the darkness to be afraid of us. So tonight, when you switch off the light and lie down, blind, deaf, and paralyzed for hours, exactly like your ancestors, and absolutely nothing comes for you out of the dark, understand what that peace really is. It isn't luck, and it isn't mercy. It's an inheritance. It's 100,000 years of ancestors who slept shoulder to shoulder, who kept the fire alive, who woke at the smallest sound and dragged themselves to morning. You get to sleep soundly tonight because they never fully did. The dark isn't quiet because nothing's out there. It's quiet because, a long time ago, we taught it to be afraid of us. So I'm curious, have you ever jolted awake in the dead of night, heart pounding, absolutely certain something was there, even though nothing was? Tell me about it in the comments. It might be a lot older than you think.